Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon or evening so far. We do actually have a confirmed tornado on the ground right now in central Texas. This is off to the north of Abilene. Notice this is where your tornado warning is. It's just southwest of Haskell. It's pretty far off to the north of Abilene by about 30 to 40 miles. This particular tornado has been confirmed by storm chasers in the area. It's been on the ground for about 5 to 7 minutes now. It is moving off to the north and east toward Haskell at about 20 miles per hour. So if you are currently included in this tornado warning, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. The tornado warning literally just updated, by the way. It actually now has confirmed on it. So this is an observed confirmed tornado near Sagerton, and it's moving off to the north and east at about 20 miles per hour. Video on social media indicates a tornado. I've also seen photos on Twitter of a tornado being on the ground. We have retweeted photos on our Twitter of this particular tornado, so if you want to check those out, our Twitter page is in the link in the description, and it's also, I believe, below. But if not, it's max velocity WX. This storm in particular is producing currently a damaging tornado near 283 moving toward Haskell, Texas. In addition to that, it's producing up to ping pong ball sized hail. And the hail core is actually pretty impressive on this storm. It's right in here near 6, and that's going to be moving off to the north and east toward Haskell, Rochester, and eventually moving off to the north and east toward more rural parts of central Texas. And you'll also notice there's a hook on this storm, a little hook echo. In addition to that, we do have a pretty strong inflow. So this is a very prime storm right now to be producing a tornado. Your tornado will be located right in that circle right there. So that's just off to the north of 283. It's near the Plainview area as well, just to the northwest of Plainview, northeast of Hamlin, Texas. So if you're familiar with that area, again, north of Abilene by about 30 miles. A couple of scans ago, this was a way more definitive area of very strong rotation. This was 5:14 p.m. just south of 283. We had a clear tornado on the ground here on radar, and even at about 5:17, 5:19, I mean, it was still on the ground. A little bit weaker now, but it's still definitely there. Notice, let's pause it right here. Notice as of right now, that is your rotation. There is still definitely rotation there. This could still be on the ground right now. So again, make sure that you are seeking shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you are included in this very small tornado warning. And the reason why it's small is because, one, the environment is not super ripe for long track tornadoes. Obviously, this probably will not be too long, I would expect, but with it being discreet and a very clean hook echo, and as well as the inflow being very strong, we definitely could easily see this being on the ground through Haskell, Texas. So if you're back up near Haskell, definitely be on alert. You're not under a tornado warning as of now, but I would not be surprised if this continued potentially down the road for another 15 minutes or so after this warning. There is a severe thunderstorm warning as well for the Haskell area, Rochester. That is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, ping pong ball sized hail, and also the possibility of a tornado. But this is a pretty impressive looking supercell right now. Obviously came kind of out of the blue. Many of you probably not expecting a tornado warning in this area today, and again, the chances were pretty low. I mean, we're talking about a very low chance for tornadoes today. It was a 2% probability. So again, this is on the ground as of right now, at least according to storm chasers. We have plenty of photos that we've seen. Again, you can find those on Twitter, on my Twitter page at maxvelocitywx. And again, this tornado warning ongoing for another 6 minutes. And fun fact, I was just live about 5 minutes ago, and I was live for about 4 minutes, and then I realized my live stream was private. So good times. But welcome on in, everybody, to the live stream. Again, I was not expecting to really go live this early, but definitely an interesting storm right now. And this hail core, by the way, is massive. We have some serious hail falling near 6, just west of Haskell, Texas. Let's smooth the radar out real quick. There you go. That's a little better of a view of it. So this is the hail core. Very, very definitive hail core right there. That's your hook echo. That's the inflow. Again, tornado would be located right there, just off to the west of 277. Which, if it is still on the ground, which I would assume it's probably at least some sort of wall cloud or lowering at the bare minimum right now, but as of about 3 to 4 minutes ago, it was on the ground. So wouldn't be surprised if it still was. We can check out the correlation coefficient as well. Let's go to that. This is the velocities again. Rotation's weakening just a little bit here, so it's not nearly as strong as before. Here's the correlation coefficient. Not really picking up on anything, and even when the tornado was on the ground, I didn't really see much of a CC drop. But one thing I have seen is the massive hail core, and that's one thing that the correlation coefficient is picking a bit up on, is that there is a pretty definitive hail core, a little bit of hail falling right there, so that's near 6. Again, that hail core moving toward Haskell. If you're in the Haskell area, obviously make sure you have your vehicles protected in a garage of some sort, because there will definitely be some large hail with this storm for sure. And this is in central Texas, north of Abilene by about 30 miles. I'll zoom back out here. By the way, the live cam is just east of Olney that I'm looking at here. It's looking in the direction of this storm. One thing you'll notice is that the clouds are moving very quickly. We actually have some stronger lower level winds, and that's allowing for those clouds to move pretty quickly right now. But this storm in particular, it's only moving at about 20 miles per hour. It's a very slow moving storm. And this isn't it for tonight, by the way. Obviously, we have one tornado warning, but there will be more storms tonight. There is a pretty large risk of severe weather. Let me zoom out here. But here's your threat of severe weather for tonight. We do have a slight risk of severe weather from southwest Oklahoma back into central and southern Texas. A marginal threat for Dallas, Houston, also back through the Oklahoma City area. Main concern for tonight is large to very large hail, but there is a tornado risk. This entire green shaded area, you have to be on alert. There is a chance for an isolated tornado or two, and we've already seen one that has been confirmed. So that is obviously something to kind of keep in mind. If you're back near the DFW area, it will not be a threat until really closer to like overnight tonight, so closer to midnight and after that, until you actually see any storm activity. I will be doing a future radar here in a few minutes once this tornado warning gets lifted, which for right now, the storm right now is losing a lot of its rotation. If we go back about 5 minutes, let's go to right here. So you can see at 516 at 283, pretty tight area of rotation there, just west northwest of Plainview. It's weakened a bit over the last several minutes. There might still be some sort of lowering, but for now the rotation is definitely weakened out over the last several minutes, which is good news. Obviously this is a very rural area of Texas. I believe the tornado warning count is 270 for population. It's not a super populated area, but again, this is mainly for the Sagertown area. DFW is not under a tornado warning. Nope. This is the only tornado warning, and it's back over north of Abilene. I think most of the DFW area will be seeing storms closer to midnight tonight, and most of those will be damaging winds. And that would be more of an isolated threat to begin with. So I don't anticipate this to be like a widespread, threat tonight. Though this is a bit of a surprise. I mean, we had a very impressive looking supercell here. Yeah, here's the confirmed report at 5:13. So it was about 15 minutes ago in Sagerton. We had a confirmed tornado on the ground, again, in Haskell County. The video showed it 1 mile southwest there, near 283. So this is a pretty impressive looking storm, though, a few minutes ago. And again, if you want to see any of those photos, they're on our Twitter page at MaxVelocityWX. It's a surprise one. Yes, it is a surprise one. I wasn't expecting to go live. I just kind of felt like it. I was kind of surprised myself when I saw a confirmed tornado. I actually saw the photo on Twitter first. This was not a confirmed tornado warning until probably about, I don't know, 7 or 8 minutes ago. And yeah, again, this kind of came out of nowhere. So I'm probably not close enough. I don't know exactly where that area is, but I'm guessing not very close. This is north of Abilene, so this is the area. Tornado warning does expire in a minute, so we'll see if they issue a new one. I kind of doubt it. Overall rotation, again, not overly strong here. It's definitely weakened out over the last few minutes. Definitely going to be some damaging winds, perhaps even some ping pong ball sized hail going toward Haskell, Texas. And in addition to that, it'll be going toward 222. Long-term track on this particular storm will be Seymour back through Wichita Falls. Those areas are on the long-term track of this particular supercell. But again, very slow moving. It's moving at 20 miles per hour off to the north and east. We do have a few more storms firing up back over in the Texas Panhandle as well. This one in particular is near the Clarendon area. This is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and as well as half-dollar sized hail. The National Weather Service has actually issued a new tornado warning on this, so we are going to see an extension on this tornado warning. This is going to include the Haskell area as well as back through the Wiener area. That's going to be... Those are the two main locations included, as well as Rule. This is going to be mainly for the potential of a tornado in addition to golf ball sized hail. No longer a confirmed tornado, though. We're back down to just a normal tornado warning. Again, if you're in this area, seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Again, this is currently north of Abilene by about 30 miles. We're in central Texas. This is not near DFW. This particular storm, again, producing the potential for a tornado. So again, seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Rotation is going to be located right here. Again, not nearly as tight and confined as what we had about 10 minutes ago, but it very easily could recycle. This is, again, not a very primed environment for long track sort of tornadoes, but it's entirely possible that we get some sort of second tornado out of this with how discreet the supercell is right now. We also have a pretty clean little inflow from a few minutes ago. We very easily could see that redevelop over the next few minutes as this storm moves towards the Haskell area and the Pinkerton area, and eventually going toward the Matson region. So all those areas in the track of this particular supercell, and again, golf ball size hail being a very strong possibility if you're near Haskell, Texas. We are definitely going to be seeing some large hail there. Anywhere in that pink and black, that's all representing a hail core. Don't doubt the groundhog. Yeah, the groundhog day was today, if you didn't hear. Early spring this year. By the way, the groundhog is 40% accurate. Fun fact. First tornado this year was actually in South Texas, I believe on January 2nd. It's like an EF0 tornado. The second tornado of the year, I believe, was in Florida. How's it going, random? Yeah, statistically, the groundhog is not very accurate. It's like 40%. 40% accurate. Rotation on the other severe storm. Let me check that out. Should have looked. Did look like there was like a small little hook. Yeah, there's something just northwest of Lakeview. Looks like maybe something here. Let me, is there another radar over here? Let's see. It's not nearly as intense there. I'm gonna check and see. My phone as well. Could be a little bit of contamination on that. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of rotation there. That's, again, near the Lakeview area of Texas. This is another pocket of rotation. No CC drop. There is a chance, though, that there is a little bit of contamination because there's probably at least a little bit of hail falling there, which might be kind of hindering the velocities a little bit. But nonetheless, we definitely have a little bit of rotation here. That's northwest of Lakeview. This will be moving toward the Headley area and just east of Clarendon. That's back over in the Texas Panhandle. So another storm to watch for. And again, this is the main storm that we've been watching. This is the one that does have a tornado warning. This had a tornado on the ground a few minutes ago. It is back down to a normal tornado warning. This is moving toward Haskell, Texas. Rotation is definitely weakened. This is at 5:16 p.m. Again, notice near 283, a very tight area of rotation. That was when there was a tornado on the ground. We've definitely lost a lot of the rotation, but this area in particular is really the interesting area to watch for the redevelopment, perhaps, of a tornado out of this particular storm. So that'll be an area to watch for. But for right now, it looks to be more of a hailstorm with definitely a lot of lightning, by the way. And these storms are going to be highly electrified tonight. So if you're anywhere in central or north Texas, there will definitely be a lot of lightning tonight. And this is a pretty impressive tornado, by the way. If you haven't seen the photos, again, I retweeted a couple of them over on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. There's also links in the description. We do now have a severe thunderstorm watch that has been issued for a large majority of central Texas back into parts of southern Texas. This does include Austin, Texas, or it does not include Austin, sorry. It includes San Antonio, Texas, Abilene, San Angelo, and Junction. Those are the main locations in this severe thunderstorm watch. It is now popping up on your screen, this yellow boxed area. It is larger than this, but it does take a second to load in. There is apparently another tornado on the ground with this storm as of 3 minutes ago. So this is a second confirmed tornado on this storm. I'm not sure if it's still on the ground. It looked to be maybe more brief. I'm going to retweet that photo on Twitter as well. But this is another tornado. That would probably be near Haskell is my guess. But yeah, another tornado on the ground, perhaps back in this area, just east of Sagerton. Again, make sure you're seeking shelter. Looks to be perhaps on the brief side, but I would definitely still stay in your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. But this would be the second tornado on the same storm, which is kind of crazy to think. Again, I retweeted that photo on our Twitter page. And the tornado isn't even like a tiny little rope. I mean, we actually have some pretty decent looking tornadoes coming out of the storm. This is the second one now that's been confirmed, which is crazy to think. How's it going, Dylan? It's gone now? Yeah, I kind of figured. It looked to be more on the brief side. Yeah, so again, that's the second tornado on this particular storm. Just crazy to think. And let me put a track on this storm, just for those that are out in front of it. Give you an idea of who's in the track of this storm. We'll do this. Going at about 20 miles per hour. I'll do 22. Timing is on the left side of your screen, so those are the main locations in the track. So Haskell, it says 18 minutes. I mean, you're really going to be getting hit by it in the next like 5 minutes. Eventually going towards Seymour in a couple hours, but again, overall, very rural locations out in front of this storm. It actually might be a bit quicker than 20. Yeah, confirmed tornado again on the ground. Law enforcement confirmed this tornado. Yeah, law enforcement reported a rope tornado at 5:31 p.m., so 6 minutes ago. Another confirmed tornado on this storm. And Haskell will be getting hit by this at 5:40, which you're already basically getting hit by it. But if there is a tornado still on the ground, it'll be reaching you in about 2 to 3 minutes. So get into your safe place now. Don't wait. Stamford will be getting hit by this at around 5:55 p.m. But again, do not wait. Get in your safe place early rather than later. Safer to do that, especially with this particular storm. Again, this is now the second confirmed tornado that we've had on this storm, both in separate instances. They're not like they're with the same storm, but you know, they got lifted in between, and now another tornado dropped. So, yeah, that's another confirmed tornado on this storm. Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware that Ryan got photos of the tornado. Those are the ones I'm retweeting on Twitter. Again, rural Haskell, Wienert are all included in this tornado warning right now. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground near Haskell, Texas. This is now the second confirmed tornado. It's a messier looking storm now, but it's definitely still producing a lot of hail, lightning, and again, confirmed tornado. Making a post on Facebook about this real quick. Will the watch likely get extended? I don't know if it'll get extended into like, you know, like the DFW Metroplex, for example. Let me zoom out here, but overall the main concern will be in this actual, like the current severe thunderstorm watch. I highly doubt we're going to see this in DFW. I think the threat overall will be more isolated as this area of storms moves to the east. Again, bit of a surprise that we have a discrete cell this far up to the north. Obviously, there was a low tornado probability today. It was 2% across this entire area, which is the lowest before being 0% essentially. But this will be more of a line of storms as this moves to the east. So once we get closer to like 9 to 10 o'clock, and as these storms move closer to like western DFW, these storms overall will be a lot more linear, and there'll be more of a damaging wind concern. But even with that being said, they're not going to be like a, you know, it's not going to be like a widespread damaging wind threat. It should remain pretty isolated overall, but we'll see what happens over the next 2 hours. Again, this is a bit of a surprise, obviously, having a storm like this produce now 2 tornadoes, which both of those tornadoes so far, just looking at the pictures, have looked very impressive. So, yeah, and also this is the other storm back up near the Headley area. This one has a little bit of rotation as well, but again, not tight confined by any means, but there is definitely a little bit of rotation. That's southeast of Clarendon in the Texas Panhandle. We'll be watching that one as well. Again, this is the confirmed tornado that's on the ground. It's really hard to tell at this point where this exact tornado is. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. Presumably, it'd be back up over in here, so it'd be near the just southwest of Haskell area. Again, law enforcement confirmed the tornado 7 miles southeast of Rule at 5:31, which presumably would be back near 277 and probably right about here or so. But overall, the rotation definitely not nearly as organized as about, you know, 10 to 15 minutes ago when we first went live. It was much stronger. Doesn't mean there can't be a tornado on the ground though right now. Let's go to the, let's measure this out real quick. So this is about 7 miles. So yeah, it would be in the ballpark where I just circled. So it's just on the southwest side right now of Haskell. We also have a couple of hail cores with this storm that are producing up to golf ball sized hail, one of which is near 380 and 2407 just to the west northwest of Haskell. And then we have another hail core developing here that is going to be moving into Haskell. So those will be producing up to golf ball sized hail over the next several minutes. And here's the confirmation of a tornado at 5:31. So that red circle that you can see there just south of Rule, that is also another confirmed tornado. Oklahoma has a threat of severe weather tonight, but overall it's on the lower side of things. And honestly, across the entire board here, it's all very low. We have a slight risk of severe weather. That's the main area to watch for severe weather. But if you're in the marginal threat, again, it's a low risk overall, but you should still take the proper precautions, even if you're up there in Oklahoma. I don't think we're going to really see much tornado activity in Oklahoma, to be honest, but you might see some damaging winds. It'd just be a low threat. Thank you, Magic. Hope you've had a good day as well. Austin, Texas is in the same boat. Again, it's an isolated threat of severe weather as well. New severe thunderstorm warning southwest of Seymour. This is actually mainly for the threat of hail, not wind. That would be because of this little area of storm activity developing near the Monday area going toward Gorey. That is producing quarter-sized hail. That warning will go for about 48 minutes, so until about 6:30 Central Time. And here's a zoomed out look at where this tornado warning is in perspective to the entire state of Texas. Nowhere near Houston, nowhere near DFW. It is, again, north of Abilene, and this particular storm is moving to the north and east. It's on track to go toward Wichita Falls, but I would not be that concerned about this particular storm if you're in Wichita Falls. We are still very far out. Things could easily change with this storm as it continues to move to the north and east over the next several minutes. But again, it's moving 20 miles per hour. It's not like a storm that's flying along to the north and east. Northeast Texas will see storms overnight tonight, but they probably will not be severe. Depends on where you are in Northeast Texas. And again, I'll be doing a timing, like a future radar in a few minutes after this tornado warning ends, or whenever it ends, and I'll also be going over the severe weather threat for tonight. Thunder near Denton, Texas right now. That is likely from some of the elevated storm activity we have out here. None of this is severe. No lightning's actually popping up on radar, but it's probably like very minimal lightning. But yeah, again, all that storm is just, all the rain over there is mostly elevated. It's not a concern. When you might want to be a bit more concerned, or at least be prepared for, is what we're going to be seeing tonight. After 10 o'clock tonight, that is when there's a chance for severe weather. Again, damaging winds being the main concern. West of Denton, don't hear any thunder. Yeah, it didn't look like there was much. I mean, there might have been like one, clap of thunder. That'd be about it. Getting the trampoline scale, don't worry. Again, if you're just tuning in, we do have currently a confirmed tornado on the ground near the Haskell, Texas area. Again, as of now, doesn't seem to be on the ground. It was about 10 minutes ago. The National Weather Service confirmed it at about 5:31 p.m. from law enforcement. More in particular, we're talking more about a hail threat right now. There's definitely golf ball sized hail in here. If there is still a tornado on the ground with this storm, it would be somewhere in here moving into Haskell. So if you're in Haskell, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. It's not confirmed at this exact time, but as of 12 minutes ago, it was confirmed. It's still on the warning as observed. So we're just going to stick with that just in case, it is still on the ground. I'm going to see if there's any updates here on Twitter. But that particular area is where we're looking at a tornado warning. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see any new photos in the last few minutes. The last time I saw an actual photo of this tornado was like about 10 minutes ago, so. So again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. And here is your flying trampoline meter for today, by the way. So it is a medium risk of flying trampolines. By the way, the live cam at the bottom left of your screen, that's back near Olney, Texas. That is the closest one on Radar Omega that we have. So. Texas Panhandle, mostly ordinary thunderstorms. There is one storm that is severe up there. Not really too concerned about this one as of now, but there has been a little bit of rotation. But nothing incredibly intense with those. I mean, the rotation's very minimal. It's more of a hail threat with maybe a little bit of damaging winds. And I don't think we'll have much of a tornado threat in the Texas Panhandle. I think if we have any tornado threat, it would really be primarily down in here. So basically in central Texas and back through areas just west of San Antonio. Those areas in particular, I think we'll have a bit better of a chance of a tornado or two. We have more discrete supercell action back down here expected tonight over the next really 3 to 4 hours. So back west of San Antonio, there'll be a few storms in here that produce a perhaps an isolated tornado. But really, more concerningly, some very large hail could come out of some of these storms as well, which is definitely a concern. When I talk about like very large hail, we're talking the potential for upwards of, tennis ball or baseball sized hail out of a storm or two down that direction. Now, if you're back over anywhere else in North Texas or Central Texas, basically anywhere other than west of San Antonio, there's really no chance of seeing above 2-inch diameter hail. It's a very, very, very low chance, but back down there, it's a slightly higher chance overall. Check and see if there's any other updates on Twitter about this particular storm. Doesn't look like it as of right now. Again, if there is a tornado on the ground, it's going to be located right about here near Haskell, Texas. It's going to be right in there. Again, that's going to be moving into the Haskell area over the next few minutes. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. Again, at this exact time, we don't have any confirmation of a current tornado on the ground, but about 12, 13, 14 minutes ago, it was confirmed as a rope tornado with this particular storm. And I'll see if there's any other reports of, or any other photos of a tornado. Yeah, there was a rope tornado about 15 minutes ago. We had a bit more of, not really a cone-shaped tornado, but it was definitely a more impressive looking tornado. A lot of debris being lifted up on the dust, or on the farm fields there. That was about 30 minutes ago, so when we first went live at about 5:15 or so. Again, area rotation right now is just off to the south of Haskell by about a mile. Thank you, by the way, Guy, for the $9.99. I appreciate that. I really appreciate your generosity. And thank you, Shelly, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. Thank you, Barbara. Fort Worth will get hit tonight. Again, I expect more of an isolated damaging wind threat. There will be a lot of lightning with those storms, so you'll hear probably a lot of thunder tonight across the DFW Metroplex. But again, that'll probably be between about 10 p.m. until 2 to 3 a.m. How's it going, Lucy? By the way, I'm drinking Buc-ee's. Buc-ee soda. In case you were wondering. And area of rotation is on the south side now of Haskell. If you are in Haskell, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Seeing if there's any other information on this in terms of if we have any other photos. No photos over the last 10 minutes of any tornado, which we had like a few dozen. There was a few dozen on Twitter about 15, 20 minutes ago. So I'm guessing that this is, again, not on the ground right now, but it, again, could drop at any time. Stay in your safe place, again, if you are in the Haskell, Texas area. Again, this is north of Abilene. We are in central Texas. This environment really is not really conductive of like long track tornadoes. So for those that are wondering, it's really not. Again, bit of a surprise that we've already had 2 tornadoes with this, and they've both been actually, I mean, the first one was on the ground for about 7 or 8 minutes approximately. The second one, that was a rope tornado. So here's where the 2 tornadoes were confirmed. One right here, one right here. This one was on the ground probably for like 1 to 3 minutes at most, and it's my guess. That's what I at least saw. The one near the Sagerton area was probably on the ground for closer to 5 to 7 minutes. So both varying with time, but you know, they're not, that's not considered long tracked, quote unquote. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see that today. This is Radar Omega. There's a link to download it at the bottom of the description. The tornado threat will overall, yeah, it'll overall lower as we go into tonight. So after about 8 o'clock or so, that tornado risk should be pretty low. I mean, it would be lower than what it is right now. The tornado risk will really be the highest between now and about 8 o'clock. That's when we have the best chance for discrete supercells. Once this turns into more of a linear line of storms, which we have a lot of the storm activity like near Childress and Memphis back into the Texas Panhandle, a lot of that is linear. This is really the only discrete supercell activity that we have right now. Only exception to that is that we do have some semi-discrete supercells developing back down west of San Antonio, which there is a new severe thunderstorm warning here near Bracketville for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Terrell will get the storms overnight tonight, but you will not be really looking at much severe weather. Same thing with Waco. Yeah, this is your tornado warning. Still currently a observed tornado according to the National Weather Service, but that was back at 5:31 p.m., so about 20 minutes ago. I am guessing that that will be getting taken off at some point here in the next few minutes, but with that being said, there is still a pretty good amount of scud activity around this particular storm, and here's that there's at least still rotation in the lower levels from what I'm seeing. And this is, again, back to the velocities. If there is a tornado, it would be located back down here near Haskell, so on the south side. And this will be moving off to the north and east. And again, a lot of hail with this storm as well. We're talking about a pretty good chunk of this area on the north side of Haskell, seeing in the ballpark of golf ball-sized hail. So if you are in the Haskell area, anywhere off to the north and east of this storm, if you're on the track of this storm, protect your vehicle. It's for the best. Obviously, you don't want to be waking up to hail damage tomorrow. We also have a severe storm back up near Monday as well. This is kind of attached to the storm in a way. It's a semi-discrete little supercell here. That's moving towards Seymour with quarter-sized hail. Check Twitter again and see if there's still a tornado on the ground here. All right, I haven't seen any photos in quite a while. I'm going to take it back down to tornado warning on here, even though it still says observed. But obviously, still treat this as if it were on the ground. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Austin, Texas is mainly a hail and damaging wind threat tonight. But again, low threat overall. Very low risk of a tornado in DFW tonight. Very low. With that being said, you should still be prepared. Have a tornado action plan in place and multiple ways to receive alerts. No tornado, but a decent wall cloud. Yeah, that's kind of the vibes I was getting from it, from what I've been seeing. Definitely a wall cloud, that's for sure. So, still has a chance to drop another tornado, but not on the ground at this current time. But not saying it won't happen again. Again, we had one tornado with this storm back at about 5:10 p.m. or so. We had, or maybe even closer to 5:05 p.m. It was pretty much at the beginning of the hour. And we had another one at about 5:30 p.m. So it's entirely possible we get something near 6. Just get one every 30 minutes. Thank you, Wolf, for the 199. I appreciate it. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for Haskell, Texas, Rule, Rochester. This is for quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. There is a tornado possible label on this. The tornado warning itself goes for 20 more minutes unless they cancel it. So we will see if they keep it going, which I'm guessing they will with there being a wall cloud still. Again, rotation is back on the south side of Haskell. It's moving toward 380. But if you're anywhere in the pink polygon, you should be in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. I am not posting a live stream on Facebook. I have not done a live stream on Facebook in almost a year. And the reason why is because one time I got marked as a like a spam. Basically, I basically got banned on Facebook for like almost it was about a day, but it was like a permanent ban. But I got banned for going live for severe weather, which obviously is just crazy to begin with. And so I don't want to risk it anymore and try to, get banned again on Facebook for going live for severe weather. So their AI system is really broken, though, because it basically falsely detected that my live stream was quote unquote spam. Happened back, I believe, last severe weather season. So we're sticking mainly to YouTube. I do think in the future, though, we will be doing dual live streams to both YouTube and TikTok. That is a possibility in the near future. I wish I could do Facebook, but I just don't want to risk it again. Thank you, Wolf, for the $4.99. What are the chances of bad weather in the Muskogee, Oklahoma area? Anywhere in Oklahoma, really primarily southern and western Oklahoma, it's mainly an isolated damaging wind threat. I'm not overly concerned really for Oklahoma. I think overall it's going to, again, be a very isolated severe weather threat. The most concerned areas tonight, in my opinion, are central Texas. So like Abilene, let me just zoom out here and show you, but I'll kind of outline what I'm thinking here. So I think the most concerning area overall is really in here. And the reason why is because this is the area where we have the best chance of discrete supercells over the next couple of hours. Eventually, this will turn into a linear line of storms, but in the short term, this area in particular has the highest chance of a isolated tornado or two, and as well as the potential for large to very large hail. Large to very large hail is primarily going to be back down in here, but again, a couple of these storms could easily produce an isolated tornado or two. But when I say highest tornado threat, I'm not talking about like this entire area seeing multiple tornadoes. I'm just saying, in general, the highest tornado risk out of anywhere today would be in that area, which again, it's still on the very low side of things. By the way, tornado warning has been canceled in Haskell. Which it still has a wall cloud, just kind of for reference, at least from what I'm seeing here. So I would still be very cautious if you're in this area. Granted, because there is definitely still some rotation in the lower levels, but it's not nearly as organized as before. This storm in particular, it's definitely becoming much more of a hailstorm at this point as it continues to move to the north and east. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. We are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. We are currently 1,900 away, so we are not far away. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and like the stream if you found it informative so far. And I'll be doing a future radar in just a second. I was trying to find something. I don't know where it went. So this is kind of a cool little tool. This is an updating like software. It's StormNet. And it actually shows you where like the tornado probabilities are over the next few minutes. This is like the main area near Haskell. There's like a small little area there, and there's also one back up in the Panhandle. So just kind of interesting. This update's like every 10 minutes. Can't remember who made it, but it's a really good little tool. So we'll be looking at that a little bit more. All right, go back to here real quick. What are the chances of a tornado outbreak in February? The same as any other February. It's always a chance. My mic is chopping off. Is it actually? Test. Looks fine. Could be wrong. Hails frequently. Yeah, hail is the biggest thing in Texas. There is a new severe thunderstorm warning for San Angelo. That is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. So if you are in San Angelo, this is a pretty decent looking bow right now, moving that direction. This is definitely a damaging windstorm. We have a little bow there near the Mertzon area. Plenty of lightning as well. And again, these storms will have a lot of lightning tonight. That is without a doubt. That's your wind right there. Look at that. Look at all that bright green and blue. That is definitely a wind core. 55 miles per hour, 58. Seeing a peak of around 58 miles per hour. Estimated by the velocities radar, which is probably pretty close to what we're seeing at the surface. It's right on the borderline there of severe. I did play around with my microphone a couple days ago, so. But it seems like it's fine. Thank you. Also, by the way, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning near Bracketville. This is for 60 mile per hour damaging winds, quarter-sized hail. That'll be on track for San Antonio in a few hours. Again, this area is where we're watching for the potential for an isolated discrete supercell or two, and those ones have the highest likelihood of producing a very large hail event, meaning greater than 2 inches in diameter, and perhaps an isolated tornado. All right, let's go through the future radar, give you an hour-by-hour look at what's happening tonight. We'll go to 22Z. And let's go to that. All right, here's the timing for tonight. So this is at 5 o'clock. We're at 6, so let's go a couple hours ahead here. So this is 7 o'clock tonight. Notice what we're looking at 7. It's going to be a huge area of linear storms. We're basically going to be looking at a line of storms from the Texas Panhandle back just south of San Angelo. It'll be a bit broken overall. It's not like again, like a squall line, and we're not really talking about a derecho. That's not what we're looking at here. Most of this line of storms will be isolated damaging winds. It's not going to be a widespread threat, maybe widely scattered damaging winds with this. We'll also be watching for an isolated tornado across this line as well between now and about 8 o'clock tonight. And then back down near the San Antonio area, there will be a couple of discrete supercells down that direction. Here's 8 o'clock. Notice that line of storms will be moving through Abilene, Clyde, Seymour, Vernon, back even into western Oklahoma, where there will be a chance for some isolated damaging winds. Overall, again, not too crazy in terms of the severe weather in Oklahoma. And then back near San Antonio, I think, again, the best chance, or the highest chance, I should say, of a tornado or damaging winds or, very large hail will be between now and about 8 o'clock or so. These will be moving towards San Antonio, and by about 9, they'll be rolling into San Antonio. And then back up here to the north again, linear line of storms continuing from Elk City back even into southern Kansas, all the way back into north central Texas, through central Texas, into Brownwood. And then we'll be looking at some discrete cells still back down near San Antonio. By 10 o'clock, these storms will continue. We could still have a storm producing very large hail by this time around 10 o'clock tonight. Linear line of storms moving through western North Texas near Wichita Falls right around 10. And eventually by 11 to 12 o'clock, those storms are moving into the DFW Metroplex. The main concern there, again, will be damaging winds. There might be an isolated brief tornado, but I really highly doubt it, to be honest, if you're in the DFW area. And then back down near College Station, there will be some storms down there. Those might produce a little bit of damaging wind potential. Also near Austin and north of San Antonio, same story. Again, isolated damaging winds. Overnight tonight by 2 in the morning, this will become a lot more of just lots of storms all over the place. That's the easiest way to put it. I mean, we're basically going to be looking at a jumbled mess from DFW back into San Antonio. There will be some isolated severe weather still by this point, but most of it will be back down near the Gulf Coast like Houston. And then this is tomorrow morning around 7. Notice the storms are moving into areas like Louisiana and as well as into the Gulf of Mexico. And the severe weather threat will basically be done no later than like 10 a.m. tomorrow. And if there's any severe weather left, it'll be right in here. Very small stretch there of southern Louisiana. So that is the timing for tonight. And we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. We have a few of them. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning near Childress. That is southeast of Memphis, Texas. That is for quarter-sized hail, 60 mile per hour damaging winds. Another new one for the Headley area. That is also for quarter-sized hail, 60 mile per hour damaging winds. Lots of lightning, by the way. And then back near the Rochester area and Rule, we still have that ongoing severe thunderstorm warning for damaging winds up to 60, as well as quarter-sized hail. There is a tornado possible label on the storm, so be mindful. There is still a chance that that storm back up north of Haskell recycles and produces maybe a brief tornado. And back near Seymour, there is a severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-sized hail. The hail core right now is south of Route 82. Actually, a new development here back near Abilene. The linear area of storms is beginning to ramp up just west of Abilene. This will start to transition into a straight line damaging wind threat if you're in Abilene, so be mindful of that. Right now, main concern is gusty winds up to 50 miles per hour, but that could easily start to intensify a bit more as it moves toward Eastland and Cisco and Clyde, perhaps even through Abilene. Again, San Angelo is included in a 60 mile per hour damaging wind threat. That is near Route 67. And then back down in parts of South Texas, we do have a storm ongoing back down near Brackettville. And this storm in particular actually looks pretty impressive. We have a pretty decent area of damaging winds. But it does look like we have a hook echo developing on this one too. This will be something to watch for. This is definitely looking a bit more concerning if you're near Brackettville. Again, this is going to be west of San Antonio, so back down in South Texas. El Nino always creates interesting weather. Not new in Texas. Yes, it does. El Nino is very interesting, in my opinion, just due to how much rain falls in the south and like there's almost nothing in the north. Like this year in particular, it has been pretty inactive in the northern tier of the United States. I mean, the Midwest has had a couple of big winter storms, but I mean, other than that, it's been very minimal. And then the southern tier of the United States has had multiple rounds of showers and storms. It's been interesting. It's always an interesting time of the year. In addition to that, El Nino brings a lot more tornadoes to Florida. That's also another interesting little thing with El Nino. How's it going, Radar? Thank you, by the way, for everybody subscribing. Again, if you are new here, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We are about 1,800 away from that, so make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. We do daily, or we don't do daily live streams, but we do live streams for severe weather events, winter storms, and much more. And we do, for the most part, daily weather forecasts. So make sure to subscribe. It's free to do. It's the red button down below. Let's see if there's any other details here on Twitter about any tornadoes, which I don't think there is. There's a tornado, by the way, or at least a funnel cloud in California, should I? Crazy stuff. California never sees tornadoes. All right. Oh, let me change the radar, or let me change the title real quick. How's it going, Cecilia and Eunice? Welcome back. There is a risk for tornadoes on Sunday, yes, in southern Florida. I wouldn't be surprised if that got extended a bit further up to the north. So what's kind of interesting about this storm is that, I'll zoom out a little bit here, but we have a really dominant high pressure system up here to the north. We have this little band of energy that's going to sneak down here to the south, and basically it's going to go right underneath that high pressure system. And this low pressure system will move into the Gulf of Mexico as we go into tomorrow, and eventually into Florida as we go into Sunday. The low pressure system actually will be up here. It'll be more up here, the low pressure system. So that'll move up to the north as we go into Sunday. That'll allow for potentially a couple of tornadoes in central and southern Florida on Sunday. And yeah, again, very interesting weather setup, though. This high pressure system is keeping a lot of areas in the Midwest very unusually warm for this time of the year. In addition to that, it's definitely been dry over the last couple of weeks. Hasn't been much snow at all. New severe thunderstorm warning for the Quanah area near Crowell. This is actually for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. So pretty high area of winds here. That's going to be near Route 70, just off to the west of Crowell. Moving off to the east-northeast toward Quanah. Again, seek shelter away from windows if you're included in this warning. It's not a tornado warning, but 70-mile-per-hour winds could basically be on the lower side of like an EF0 tornado. And the Haskell tornado warning again was canceled about 10 minutes ago or so, no longer ongoing. But there is still a tornado possible label on this storm in case it starts to rotate again, which there has been some broad rotation with this for the last few minutes, but nothing in particular that looks too concerning right now. But definitely still some hail in this. We have a couple pockets of hail, one west of 277, one off to the northeast of Haskell. And again, that linear setup is beginning to develop now, where we're going to see a lot more of a damaging wind threat over the next few hours, starting to kind of ramp up. I'm not too concerned about southeast Texas, not in particular. Make this crap dissipate before Weatherford, Texas. That'd be great. I don't think that's happening. I think you're definitely going to see showers and perhaps some storms tonight. You might not see severe weather, but it's pretty high likelihood that you'll see at least some sort of storm activity. Here's the storm back near Bracketville, by the way. Again, this is near Route 90. This is the supercell. We do have some rotation here. It's a pretty decent looking supercell. Not really much low-level rotation here, but it definitely has a chance at some point down the road to produce something. This is very discreet. I do not... Let me double check. I don't think the low-level winds are nearly as strong down here. Let's check that. I'm going to check that real quick. There's a pretty decent amount of veering. The winds at the surface with this particular area in Texas, they aren't overly impressive. The winds, like, near the lower levels, like, with this sort of supercell, are definitely pretty weak. I mean, we're talking, like, 20 to 30 miles per hour. Let's go back up to Abilene. Here, let me see. The Abilene environment, believe it or not, is actually a bit more ripe for that tornado risk, at least with the 6 p.m. sounding generated by the computer. So this storm in particular, if you're just tuning in, produced 2 different tornadoes. One at about 5 o'clock Central Time and one at about 5:30. Both southwest of Haskell. Those red circles here, those were the 2 tornadoes. And this environment is a little bit more ripe for tornadoes. We have a bit more veering, and the winds near the surface are a bit stronger up here, around 30 knots or so, which is a bit of a stronger low-level jet. Actually near 35, 40 knots, so definitely a bit more of a impressive environment here. Up near the Abilene area. But granted, that was our really only discrete supercell. We would need another discrete supercell, I would think, for there to be another tornado up here. Back down here to the south, I mean, you could get some discrete supercells, but I think it's going to be a bit harder for one of these storms to produce. But there's still definitely a little hook there. It's just, again, the rotation's not overly impressive. You can see it here. There's a little bit of something, but it's not much right now. That's actually not even the right spot. It'd be back down in here, which looks to be more damaging winds right now. Still something to watch, though, if you're back near Bracketville. Bracketville moving to the east. San Antonio will probably get hit by this storm sometime near 8 to 9 o'clock. Uvalde as well will be in the track of this here in about 30 to 45 minutes. This storm in particular is moving east at about 30 miles per hour. The storm motion is a bit faster down here to the south. Up here to the north, the supercells that were ongoing about 30 minutes ago were moving very slowly. The ones near Abilene are moving at 45 miles per hour to the east. So the linear complex of storms that's developing, moving much quicker to the east. The little cells out here that were producing a lot of hail and the tornado risk are moving very slowly. Let's go to the... Let me put a little timing guide on this linear area of storms. To 45 here. So in case you were wondering when you might be getting hit by this linear area of storms, these are not severe, the ones I'm looking at here that I'm tracking out, but these ones in particular, they easily could become severe in about like 10, 20, 30 minutes. They are producing gusty winds. It is an intensifying area of storm activity, but Clyde in about 45 minutes, Eastland in about an hour, hour and a half, and eventually going toward Stephenville in about an hour, or about 2 hours or so, just a little over 2 hours. Mineral Wells in about 2.5 hours, so near 8:45 or so. And then the Fort Worth area, will be in about 3 to 3.5 hours. So you're still on track to get hit around about 9:30, 10:30 if you're in the DFW Metroplex. Perhaps a little bit on the later side of that, though. That area of storms. A friendly reminder, if you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, we are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. We are currently exactly 1,800 subscribers away from 100,000, so make sure to subscribe to the channel. And again, if you have not already heard, the groundhog is predicted that we will have a early spring this year. Fun fact, it's only right 40% of the time, historically, so we will see about that. But I actually would not be surprised if we had a bit of an early spring with how the weather pattern is right now. We'll probably get another Arctic blast, to be honest with you, like near the mid to end of the month. But I don't think we're going to see too many more big shots of cold air. I think it'll be pretty minimal. No major signs of any big winter storms, though, on the horizon. Like, we might get an Arctic blast, perhaps sometime around, like, February 15th to 25th, like, in that time frame. I think we'll get something then, but for the next, like, week and a half, I don't see any signs of an Arctic blast. Or massive winter storms or anything like that. Definitely more... We're basically seeing April weather right now in February. It's pretty much what it is. It's almost like that. I mean, it's more probably, like, mid to late March, honestly. Theoretically, it's close to April. Do I think DFW will get any snow this February? I want there to be snow in DFW, but I just don't think it's going to happen. It's a stretch. It would really require a serious blast. It would require an Arctic blast for that to happen. Because the temperatures over the next 2 weeks, I don't even think we're going to drop below freezing in DFW. Hardly at all. The GFS model does show snow on February 17th in DFW. Does that mean that we're going to see it? No. The GFS model, 2 weeks out is like never right, but yeah, I do think it'll get a bit colder as we get closer to around like February 15th to 25th if you're in the North Texas region. We are currently north of Abilene with this particular storm. There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 severe thunderstorm warnings as of now. A little bit low on the total. There are 8 severe thunderstorm warnings right now, and again, all of these, for the most part, are now damaging wind threats. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for Central Texas, a few counties in western North Texas, and then back through South Texas near San Antonio. San Angelo, all those areas included in a severe thunderstorm watch. This goes until about 11, I believe. Midnight, never mind. So midnight tonight, a few storms will be capable of producing hail upwards of 2.5 inches in diameter, which is tennis ball sized hail. But most of this hail will be under that, so scattered large hail is likely, with isolated very large hail events. Around 2.5 inches in diameter being possible. That is the size of a tennis ball, by the way. And isolated damaging wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour are possible, and then a tornado or 2 are possible. We've already seen 2 tornadoes tonight. There is definitely a chance that we see 1 or 2 more. Where would we see those? Probably down here in South Texas. But even then, I am kind of not very confident that we're going to get a tornado out of this activity. Even though this particular storm is discrete, it's going to be kind of a stretch for it to produce a tornado, in my opinion. The environment is not nearly as good when it comes to the wind speeds in the lower levels, which can definitely cause some issues. How's it going, Heartland? Welcome back. I hate severe weather. We'll have some news for you. Severe weather season starts in about a month. Severe weather season, what I imagine severe weather season being, at least for the southern and central plains, is mainly from March until June. And then like the Midwest is typically from about July through really late August, sometimes early September. So get ready. It's gonna be probably a heck of a severe weather season. I think it's gonna start early too. I think we'll start a bit earlier than usual. Probably start in early March. How long will I be streaming? I have no clue. No clue whatsoever. Tornadoes in Texas, statistically, they have become more common, but in my opinion, they really haven't. Like, if you look at the data over the last 100 and 150 years on North Texas in particular, like, let's just say, North Texas, I just realized this live stream doesn't even have a thumbnail. That's impressive. I don't have a thumbnail. I had to find one real quick. One second. I just realized I didn't have a thumbnail. One moment, please. That looks very unprofessional. But if you look at the statistics, like, 100 years ago, there was, like, maybe 10, 20 tornadoes a year at most. But I think a lot of the tornadoes that happened never got reported 100 years ago. Like, some of them might have been, like, really rural or really weak and they never got reported. That sort of thing. So that's entirely possible. So I think that they become a little bit more common, but, like, with that being said, I still think there's probably a lot that have not been confirmed that were, like, 100 years ago or so. Watch you with or without the thumbnail. Well, it's not even that. It's just I don't even have a thumbnail. I cannot believe I don't have a thumbnail for this. I can't believe I just realized that too. I didn't even look. So if you didn't watch the very beginning of this live stream, I went live for 3 minutes on a private live stream by accident. Had no clue. I was like, I have 0 viewers. That seems interesting. I was like, oh, it's a private live stream. Pretty unfortunate. I legitimately don't have a thumbnail for this. I'm trying to find one. Yeah, we're not in a good position. I don't have any thumbnails on here. Like, I was using one. Let me see if I can download it real quick, actually. The one I was gonna use... Download it. Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind. Alright, we got a thumbnail. This is a really OG thumbnail that I used to use back in the day. Alright, we have a thumbnail. Looks way more professional than whatever it just was. I think the thumbnail was like... I don't even know what it was. It was just something weird. Alright, we're good. I know, I can't believe we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. It's kind of crazy to think. I mean, like, literally, it's literally insane. I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, it was just not something I ever imagined. And what's even crazier is that since we're 1,800 subscribers away from 100,000, once we hit 100,000 subscribers, we get a YouTube play button, which will be very surreal. It's just so crazy to think. So, yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the channel and you're watching right now, make sure to hit the red button down below. We are getting awfully close to 100,000 subscribers. We are currently 1,750 away. Again, crazy to think. Who would have thought? Our TikTok has been blowing up recently, too. Our TikTok following is up to 35,000 now. And, like, 3 weeks ago it was at, I don't know, like, maybe 4,000. Like, really low. And I didn't really post on it much before. Been posting more on it recently. And by the way, if you want short form weather forecasts, TikTok is actually a good place on my particular page. It's basically what I talk about a little bit in videos, but it's really not too detailed, and it's just giving you an idea of what's happening in a very brief, like, 60 seconds. So just want to throw that out there. We are using that way more often now. It's about every day or so I'm posting at least one TikTok. So, like, the California flooding event, that's on there, and The severe weather that we're seeing today, that was also on there. I did make a video for the severe weather today. A 59-mile-per-hour wind gust was just confirmed over in the Comanche Springs, Texas area, by the way, so just west of Crowell. The storm is currently warned for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour, and in Childress, Texas, there was a confirmed report of quarter-sized hail at 6:16 p.m., so about 9 minutes ago. The storm is starting to lose its structure a little bit on radar. Not really much rotation left with this one, so this discrete supercell is kind of losing it. And back up near San Angelo, we do have storms rolling through there right now. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour are going to be possible in San Angelo over the next 10 minutes. Then back near Abilene, we have a linear line of storms right now rolling through. These are going to be producing some gusty winds up to 55 miles per hour. Don't be shocked if these get upgraded to severe thunderstorm warnings at some point down the road. Not be surprised. I would not be surprised if these get upgraded maybe as they get closer to like Breckenridge or Eastland. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate your compliments. I did a couple of weather. If you want to go to my Facebook page, actually, I did a weather forecast. Like in front of a green screen. I posted it earlier today. The link's in the description. It's pretty good. Check it out if you want. These storms are pretty incredible, though. I mean, these are producing tons of lightning. We have this one live cam back up near Olney. It's looking west, but the problem is we're not really... Or actually, it might be looking north, actually. Yeah, it looks like it's looking... north? Yeah, I believe this is looking more north, but maybe northwest. But right now, we're not really going to be able to see anything because we're still probably a good 50 miles from these storms near Olney. This is east of Olney. It's not even in Olney. Let's see. Yeah, the closest storm is 70 miles away. 70 miles, so we don't have a great view of it, but in about 30 to 45 minutes, probably there'll probably be a pretty good view there. How's it going, Mike? Check this out real quick. Hope everyone's having a good Friday, by the way. Flying Fences Friday. Been a busy day. I got like 6 hours of sleep. I'm actually pretty tired. How's it going, Rob? Alabama. Alabama will be seeing some of the storm activity as we go into Sunday morning, I believe. Yeah, it's Sunday morning. I don't know if you're going to really see storms, but you'll at least get some rain out of this. Go to the computer models here. Let's go to the global GFS. This is what we're looking at as we go into this weekend. A quick little loop of this. But this is like tomorrow at 9 in the morning, so we'll have a lot of storm activity across areas from southern Arkansas back into Louisiana. Most of it won't be severe. Late Saturday into Sunday, there'll be some rain in Alabama. Low pressure center will be back up in here, so it's probably going to be mostly just rain. Don't really expect much storm activity. There will be a few tornadoes in parts of central and southern Florida. Overall, not a super high risk by any means. It's on the lower side of things. And then as we go into late Sunday into Monday, rain will continue across Florida, and that low pressure center will be over Florida Monday morning. There'll be a little bit more rain, perhaps, during the afternoon. Nothing too crazy overall with this storm. It is a pretty impressive storm, though. Again, it snuck right under that big ridge in the United States, in the northern tier of the United States. I'm not expecting any severe weather for Georgia either. Southlake and anywhere in the DFW Metroplex will not see storms until about 10, or if not a little bit after that. Most of the storms will be on the non-severe side, but if there are any severe storms, damaging winds will be the main concern. Coffee City, Texas. Does Coffee City have coffee? Like, do you guys have like coffee shops or something like that? I've never heard of Coffee City, Texas. I actually used to live in Texas. Where's Coffee City? Coffee City, Texas. That's actually near Athens, really? Huh. You're not no severe weather in the forecast for you, but there might be some gusty winds, some lightning to go along with that later tonight. That'll be overnight tonight. Technically in Chandler, but right next to Coffee City. So does Coffee City have like coffee shops, or is this just a play? Are they trying to like promote coffee? Maybe a 10% coffee discount whenever you come to Coffee City? How's it going, Santa? Tulsa, no, you're good. I don't expect any severe weather up there. Oklahoma overall won't be very bad. If you're in southwest Oklahoma, that's really the main concern, would be right in here. We'll be watching for some damaging wind potential. Perhaps a large hailstorm or two. We've already had 3 reports now of quarter-sized hail. One in Turkey, Texas, one in Childress, and another one just south of Childress. So these are producing quarter-sized hail. We also have a confirmed 61 mile per hour wind gust as of 6:08 p.m. in Haskell, Texas. So the storms down here to the south are producing damaging winds. Northeast Texas, mostly just rain. A couple thunderstorms maybe, but it won't be much severe weather there. Main concern for any severe weather will be back across areas in central Texas, some of North Texas, and then back down into South Texas. Let's go to the severe weather outlook. This is the outlook for tonight. Again, if you're back near like Northeast Texas, not in the risk. It's primarily for those across really southern and western Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma City, you might see something, but it would be like isolated damaging winds. Nothing out of the ordinary there. Back through central Texas and southern Texas, the main concern here would be large hail, some damaging winds, and then also perhaps an isolated tornado. I really think the tornado risk is not going to be that crazy. We might get 1 or 2 more tornadoes in the areas that I would be watching for a tornado potential over the next 2 hours. Would be back down near San Antonio, maybe 1 down here, probably less, honestly. I don't know if we'll really see anything down here. The environment down here near San Antonio is just not nearly as good when it comes to the wind shear. Back up closer to the Abilene area, there is a bit more of wind shear in this area. There's a little bit more of an organized wind, there are more organized wind profiles. And we might get an isolated tornado embedded in one of these storms. I think the better chance, honestly, is up here somewhere. Which we actually do have, it looks like a little bit of rotation back up near Haskell, but this might be more straight line. Let me just check that. There might be an outflow boundary here. Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation here near Haskell. It's not anything crazy right now, but there is a little bit. We also have a pretty decent hail core on the northeast side of Haskell. That's going to be in the ballpark of golf ball sized hail. The warning is for ping pong ball sized hail, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had golf ball sized hail happening there. Does this channel have Cash App? That's a great question. I think I do. I just never advertise it. 1 second. I have to reinstall Cash App. That's how much I use it. No problem, Hannah. I appreciate it, Elite. Northeast Indiana actually will cool down a little bit. There's a little bit of troughing, a little Arctic air actually coming out of Canada in the northeast. Not like really cold Arctic air, but there will be a little bit of it, and that'll lead to a little bit of cooler weather. But overall, nothing warmer by any means. It actually might cool off a little bit in Indiana. All right, let me check for you. I don't know if I have a count here. I do not, believe it or not. I thought I did. I do have Venmo, yes. 1 second, sorry. I should put these things in the description. I know some people prefer those. Wind is picking up in Comanche County. Yeah, the wind is going to be picking up with these storms. Again, really most of this will be damaging winds from here on out. There will be some, again, isolated large hail, but the majority of this will be damaging winds up to about 60 to 65 miles per hour. All right, there you go. I'll put it in the chat. That's the Venmo. All right, let me check Twitter and see if we have any other updates on the severe storms. We do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. I'm in a little bit here. So, the severe wind and hail remains a concern across the severe thunderstorm watch over the next few hours. A QLCS tornado can't be ruled out. QLCS. Those are my favorite. So QLCS tornadoes, it's a fancy word for tornadoes being embedded in a line of storms. And if I zoom in here to the screen, this is really the area I'd be most concerned about for a tornado over the next few hours. Really being like, let me make it a little bit bigger here, but like in this area, if there is a QLCS tornado, it would be probably between Graham and Haskell. So again, fairly rural areas here of north central Texas, but this area would be the main concern with the wind shear being the greatest. Also have a pretty good amount of instability as well. And then back near DFW, again, not in the threat yet, but you'll have a better chance a little bit later. You see any severe storms approaching Wichita Falls? Wichita Falls will get some severe storms, probably, or at least storms. They might not be severe, but you'll get some storms in about an hour or so. And again, these will be moving toward Wichita Falls. That's what we're looking at right now. A little interesting little spinning motion on this storm right here near Seymour. And then we have a bit of rotation back down near the Haskell area. Let's check this out, though. Might not be. Yeah, there's definitely rotation there. Let's go back to this radar site. Circle this. Let's go to that. There's a pretty good likelihood here that we have at least some low-level rotation near Matson. In addition to that, we have a lot of hail that might be causing a little bit of contamination, but we definitely have an inflow going to the storm. Again, if there is to be a tornado with this, it would be located right in here. But for the time being, it's not tight and confined rotation, but there is definitely rotation here. This is northeast of Haskell. So we'll see if anything gets issued on that. Thank you, Hannah, by the way, for the $5.75 via Venmo. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you. Wow, look at this thing. This is a serious inflow notch right here. There could be a tornado on the ground here. That is some strong rotation. You check Wolf City? I will check it in a... Let me check it really quickly. Yeah, that is some really impressive looking rotation here. Very tight inflow notch as well. Wolf City, mainly not... I don't think you'll see much severe weather. If you do, damaging winds the main concern. It'll be later. So it'll be probably after midnight when you see storms. Yeah, there's some very strong rotation here. Again, I would not be surprised if we get a tornado warning on this. This is a really impressive QLCS right here. And the Storm Prediction Center just mentioned that, but, I mean, man, this thing looks insane. Serious hail core as well near 266. If you know any friends or family northeast of the Haskell area, going toward Throckmorton. Definitely give them a call or text. Make sure they're aware of this. This is definitely going to be... This is definitely rotating, 1. 2, I would not be shocked if we get a tornado warning here in the next couple minutes, as long as this continues to trend the way it is. It's definitely very impressive right now. It is some really crazy looking rotation. But there's definitely a lot of hail here, which also could mean there's some contamination, but there's definitely rotation. Definitely gonna be something to watch for, though. This is northeast of Haskell, again, off to the north of Abilene. Yeah, most of the Abilene area is gusty winds currently. It's nothing, again, out of the ordinary. Yeah, we're going to watch this closely. Again, there is definitely some level of contamination with this, just due to how much hail we have around it. But there is an inflow. We'll see if this stays with it over the next few scans. But this is where we'll have to be watching for, again, a potential of a QLCS tornado, which, again, it would be an embedded tornado in a line of storms, in simplistic terms. Yeah, it's one of the sharper inflows that I've seen. Let me go back over to here. Yeah, here's the pixelated radar. This is with smoothing on. That's the high-res velocities. It's definitely there. We'll see what the next radar scan shows. But yeah, this is a pretty impressive looking storm right now. Lowest temperature possible where there's a tornado threat. Typically the lowest is around 55, where the dew point is about 55. Really, when we see severe weather, it's typically with a dew point 55 or greater. Doesn't usually happen below that. Rarely it happens below 55 degrees Fahrenheit. So typically the temperature has to be the same as the dew point or greater. So the temperature would have to be 55 or higher, basically. The dew point's kind of more important in that case. It's usually around 55 or greater. But sometimes there can be an isolated tornado below that. It's typically rare. I mean, we've seen snow-nados, you know, with 10-degree, 0-degree weather. You know, snow-nados are a thing. But snow-nados are not like tornadoes. They don't cause damage, typically. So. Have I ever been in a derecho? I have actually not, in my lifetime. Yeah, this storm has, again, a very... There we go. Tornado warning has now been issued for north of Abilene, back into northwest of Throckmorton. Again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. It does not come as a surprise here, as this storm has some crazy looking rotation. I mean, again, this thing... Or not really the rotation, but the inflow itself just looks crazy. Rotation itself is still a bit broad, but it definitely has a chance to produce a tornado over the next few minutes. Notice, again, this is the current live radar. And, again, a lot of hail in here, so we definitely have some golf ball-sized hail. Very strong inflow going into the storm right here, near 266. That is propelling the overall wind shear, starting to rotate the storm more. And again, there could easily be a tornado at any point with the storm as it moves to the east, through very rural areas of northeast Haskell County, and just off to the north of the Throckmorton area. So again, seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. The population is a whopping 9 in this area. 9 people. That's a lot. I am going to screenshot this. Actually, no, I'm not. I'll screenshot it after. A lot in Oklahoma will be mainly damaging winds. Again, if you are one of the 9 people in this tornado warning, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately, away from windows and lowest floor possible. How much do you want to bet that there are more than 9 storm chasers in this tornado warning right now? There's more storm chasers in this tornado warning than the actual population. That would be something. That probably is true, actually. There's a Storm Chaser Summit happening in DFW this weekend, so there's a good amount of Storm Chasers out there. Again, very impressive looking storm right now. Inflows right here. This would be, again, where the tornado is located, if there is one on the ground. Again, this is northeast of Haskell. Going to be staying off to the north of Throckmorton. And stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Give me 1 second. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning northeast of Haskell. Seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. I got a screenshot of it. There probably is livestock. That's really the biggest thing here. But there only being 9 people, I mean, I'm guessing that there is probably a lot of farmland in this area. I'm not very familiar with the Throckmorton area, but I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Again, this the view a little bit wider here. Again, this storm particularly is west of Graham. We actually have a live cam that's getting a little bit closer here. It is pitch black now. The sun is set. But you can see the lightning in the background. You can see it flashing there on the left side of your screen. So there's lightning. Wind is shaking the camera a little bit. This is Texas. Central Texas. Yeah, a little bit of lightning. We'll have a better view of that probably in about 20 minutes. Okay. A little bit off track, but that looks like a dog, that lake. I just passed by that. I've never seen that. That looks like a dog. All right, again, this is your tornado warning right now. This is, again, just south of 266. Rotation, again, not tight confined. Definitely not a tornado right now, but there could be a tornado at any time, so stay in your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you are included in this tornado warning. Yeah, again, this is a very impressive looking supercell. This rotation has actually become rain wrapped. Wow, that's kind of crazy. We got like a circle going on in here. The inflow's been cut off. This is where the rotation is. It's in the center of this outer hail core here. It's very interesting. Yeah, this is your QLCS setup here, and this is a very interesting storm right now. So if there is a tornado at any point in the next few minutes, it's going to be rain wrapped. So again, don't be trying to look outside. In addition to that, the sun is set. So another reason why you should not be looking outside. Yeah, this is a pretty impressive area right here. Zoom out a little bit more here. And that right there is the area of interest. We got a little hail core here on the outside of it. And heavy rain, by the way. Mostly heavy rain, but there will definitely be some hail in there. Yeah, this is northeast of Haskell, Texas. This is northeast of Abilene. Any correlation coefficient drop? Let's check out from a distance. Nope. No, I mean, the rotation is not really strong right now. It's kind of in a middle stage. This is the latest radar scan. The rotation itself right now, it's not tight and confined, but it's not weak either. It's basically in the middle, and it's been like that for the last about 10 minutes or so. But one thing it did have was a very strong inflow, which could have easily led to a tornado, but it has gotten cut off for the time being. At least a strong inflow, very clean inflow. It's not there anymore. We'll see what the next radar scan holds in a second. Went from Venmo to tornadoes in about 3 minutes. Texas weather's crazy. How's it going, Cynthia? For those that are wondering, by the way, we've already had 2 confirmed tornadoes thus far today. They were both in Haskell County. And those happened, the first one happened at 5, which was this one down here at the bottom left of your screen. And then this one was at about 5:30, which is the other black circle. We're about 7 o'clock now, and this particular storm has the chance to produce a tornado in Haskell County. I don't think it will, but it has the chance. Here's the latest radar scan. And yeah, this rotation is completely rain wrapped, and we might even be talking about contamination at this point with the velocities. There's probably a good amount of hail falling around this, so that might be causing a little bit of interference with the velocities radar. Graham will be in the track of this storm in about an hour or so. So Graham, you are in line for this storm. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll see a tornado, but you at least have a chance to see some damaging winds with these storms. And again, if you are in this tornado warning, it's only 9 people. But for those 9 people, if you're watching this live stream right now, again, seek shelter away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. And this is a storm that could easily produce a tornado at any time. The rotation, again, still definitely there. It's actually a little bit stronger here, just north of 380. This is 651, so this is the live radar. This is the correlation coefficient. In a second, I clicked the wrong button. Again, no correlation coefficient drop, so there's no confirmed tornado to this point, but this is where the tornado would be located. So that rotation right here. That is where the potential for a tornado exists. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. That right there is the rotation. This is where the potential for a tornado exists. That's some really good writing. let me rewrite this. It's an abbreviation for possible, but I'm putting the wrong letters in the wrong place. Possible tornado again back up here in that black circle. That is again just north of Route 380. This is moving to the east. Areas in the track of this include Olney. Graham, Newcastle, and Throckmorton are not in the exact track of this storm, but you will be in the track of damaging winds, and I still wouldn't rule out that there's an isolated tornado even further south here. Again, QLCS is definitely possible. Other than this, we could still see one further south. Go and see if there's any other updates on Twitter, see if there's any photos. I kind of doubt it, but we will see. And it is pitch black outside now. The sun is set here in the central Texas area, so there's not going to be much visual if there is a tornado. Latest radar scan, again, not really showing a whole lot here of anything, again, crazy. It's overall still pretty middle ground rotation, and I don't think this one's going to produce, really due to the fact we don't have a very clean setup here anymore. We don't have an inflow going to the storm clearly, and it's definitely struggling a bit. But still stay in your safe place. There's still definitely rotation, but I think it's going to be hard for this one to produce a tornado. I don't see anything on Twitter right now. How about the live shot now? Let's check it out. I don't think much has changed, but we'll see. This is a live view. This is east of Olney, so this is about 40-ish miles away from the storm, maybe 50. You'll notice there's a little bit of lightning here in the background. A little bit better of a view of it now. Yeah, this lightning is very frequent. Like, this is very frequent lightning. We have a lot of it. And even from 40 to 50 miles away, I mean, we're getting a flash every second or two. Looks like some sort of hot, like, airport out in front there, too. There's some flashing lights. But, again, this is back over in the Cernity Ranch. Maybe I'm saying the name right. In German, Texas. That's still about 40, 50 miles, I believe. That's actually 58 miles away from the area of rotation. It's about 55 miles away from the lightning that's happening with this storm. Thank you, Humi, by the way, for the $1.99. I appreciate it. See if I can find this real quick. Where did it go? Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning. It is not a confirmed tornado, but there is a tornado warning here. This is for the just northwest of the Throckmorton area. And stay in your safe place, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. This particular storm out of the entire state really has the highest probability of producing a tornado over the next 30 minutes. The storms that are back down in South Texas, very low chance in the short term. And then back over north of this storm, back near the Texas Panhandle into southwest Oklahoma, there's a relatively low chance that one of those produces maybe an isolated tornado. So this one right now has the really greatest concern to produce a potential tornado over the next few minutes. But again, it is struggling a bit. We don't really have a clean setup anymore. The storm looked way crazier about like 15 minutes ago. And if we go back in time, I'll stop it here. This was at 640. That was a serious inflow going into the storm at 640. And even at 643. 646, it was still there, and then it started to go away. Kind of got cut off at around 650. So we've lost the inflow. We definitely have hail still. But I do think the storm overall is losing its rotation. That tornado warning might be canceled here soon if that trend continues. How's it going, Kathleen? Look at the storms near the Mexico and Texas border. Yeah, this is the area that, honestly, I mean, these storms kind of a bit under what I expected. I thought they would be a bit more intense than this. With that being said, I mean, most of these storms, again, being discrete or at least semi-discrete, these ones have the highest probability of producing very large hail. So we'll see if that materializes. I think the largest hail thus far is about a quarter-sized hail down there, so I don't think we've had any reports higher than that. Abilene, Texas is about to be done. After this area of storms goes through, which it already has moved through most of Abilene, you'll be done after that. Just a little bit of light rain after that. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is Central Texas, moving into far western North Texas. This storm, again, has not produced a tornado yet, and it has been weakening over the last several minutes. This is northeast of Haskell. And north of Abilene. We get some rain in Brownwood. I think almost all of North Texas, I would say 99.99% of North Texas will see rain tonight. So that would include Brownwood. West of San Antonio. West of San Antonio is just rain. After this line of storms moves through, I'll give you a good rule of thumb here. This particular event, after this line of storms moves through, you're done. it'll be mostly light rain after that, maybe like an isolated thunderstorm behind it, but overall it's a pretty low chance anything really develops behind it. It'd be mostly just rain. This tornado warning goes until 7:30, by the way. I don't know if it'll last that long, because the rotation is definitely fizzled out. We don't really have much left here. The tornado warning might be just let to be canceled. We'll see if it does. I'm assuming it will be, but we'll see. West Virginia get anything from the storm? I am not expecting West Virginia to see anything from this. This will all be well to the south. The Storm Prediction Center just issued their latest outlook for tonight. Doesn't seem like there's any major changes to the forecast. The marginal threat of severe weather now does include the Houston area for tonight. Let's go to the hail threat. The hail threat has been condensed. Initially, the hail threat, the hatched area, included all of this area just west of San Antonio. That has actually been condensed. It no longer includes areas here near San Antonio. It's just this area near the Mexico and Texas border. So this is the area to watch for a couple of instances of large hail, or very large hail. So if you're anywhere near that area, right along the border, again, very large hail is possible. New severe thunderstorm warning just got issued down there. But back near San Antonio, all the storms there probably will be more ordinary. If not, there might be some hail, but it would probably be on the weaker side of things, like quarter or $half sized hail. Again, this is our active tornado warning right now. Again, north of Throckmorton. Includes a population of 9. You are one of the... Or actually, sorry. It includes a population of 5 now. So if you're one of the 5 people here in northern and northwestern Throckmorton County, again, seek shelter away from windows and lowest floor possible. It's not really going to be impacting anyone it's not really impacting any populated areas here anytime soon. Only would be the next area in concern, but I think this storm will be more of a hail threat by then, and damaging winds possible. Newcastle, Graham, you're in the track of this line, but again, not in the track of the storm that's rotating right now. Here's a live view again out of the German Texas area. Not going to see a tornado from here, but you'll at least see some of the distant flashes of lightning. Again, this is 50 miles away from the tornado warning cell, so this is definitely pretty far away. There's some pretty good flashes right there. Do you think more discrete supercells near the Texas border are likely to produce? I do think there will be a little bit more discrete supercell action down that direction, but I do think overall the threat of severe weather is not going to be super high down there. It should stay on the lower side of things. So far, it has trended way under, or not really way under, but it's trended in a way where it's weaker activity than expected. I did expect personally even a bit more of those, very large hailstorms to develop down there. We haven't really seen much of that. We've only had maybe a storm or two do that. So the activity down there has been overall pretty underwhelming when it comes to severe weather. These storms have overperformed a little bit back up here in central Texas. We've already had 2 confirmed tornadoes. I don't think we saw a third one here from what I've seen, but at the bare minimum, we definitely have seen some damaging winds. No problem, Jesse. Here's the latest radar scan. Let's check the velocities out. And by the way, the tornado warning no longer includes Haskell County. Just to throw that out there, but we are on way weaker rotation now. It's very weak area rotation. This tornado warning will probably be canceled, but still stay in your safe place for the 5 people that are in this tornado warning. Large hail is definitely still a concern. We're still talking around ping pong ball sized hail with this particular cell. Let me take off the severe weather overlay here. Again, severe thunderstorm watch goes until midnight tonight for anywhere in the yellow shaded area. That goes from about Wichita Falls, just south of there, all the way back through areas in Austin and San Antonio. Or, sorry, San Antonio, Austin not included. Just outside of it. There could be a severe thunderstorm watch for North Texas down the road. We'll see if these storms are above severe limits, but right now, the only storm in this line that is actually above severe limits is this tornado warning and then this one severe thunderstorm warning in southwest Oklahoma, which actually has produced our largest hail of the day so far, $half sized hail. Also one south of Childress did the same thing. Yeah, we have some pretty impressive storms moving into Oklahoma now, but if you're in Oklahoma, the main concern will be damaging winds and a little bit of isolated large hail. Decatur will be around, give or take an hour on this, but probably around 9:30 to 10. Give or take an hour on that. I don't think it'll be 8:30. A safe time would be about 10. The DFW area, like Fort Worth, Dallas, McKinney, Denton, will be between about 11 and 2 tonight. So 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's the ETA. But again, give or take about an hour on the later side of that. So latest it would be going till it's about 3, and then the earliest would be like 10:30. These storms are not very fast. I mean, even this tornado warning, it's moving east at about 25 miles per hour. So it's not super fast. Storms near Abilene are moving about 20 miles per hour as well. So if they continue their pace toward DFW, let's just go and do an estimate on this. Fort Worth would see this in about 5 hours. I don't think it's that slow, but you get the idea. It'll probably be around 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the DFW area. How's it going, Pez? Not doing too bad. Again, I was not expecting. When I said I might go live today, I was not really being super serious. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I said that on Twitter last night, and I also said it on my YouTube video today. I was like, I kind of said it in a way. I was like, there's like a 20% chance I go live for this. Like, it's probably not gonna be a huge event, and even if it is, it's gonna be primarily back down like west of San Antonio. It kind of surprised me that we had a tornado on the ground near Haskell. At 5 o'clock. It just not in my bingo card for today. But I was ready to go live in case we had to. So. With that being said, we still have a tornado warning in effect north of Throckmorton. Again, a population of 5 in this area, in this pink polygon. And if you're one of the 5 people watching, stay in your safe place away from windows and lowest floor possible. Ardmore, again, anywhere in southern or western Oklahoma, mainly a damaging wind threat up to 60 miles per hour, perhaps isolated large hail. Southeast Texas will also be mainly damaging winds. That will be overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning, so expect to wake up if you're going to bed at like 10 o'clock and you get up at like 6, you'll probably wake up earlier than 6 with all the thunder and lightning. Thanks, April. I appreciate it. No problem, Jackie. New special weather statement issued for those in Throckmorton. That's mainly for gusty winds up to about 55 miles per hour. Again, that is not a severe thunderstorm warning. For future reference, by the way, I am putting my Venmo in the description. Was there wondering? All right. Just added that in. Don't forget. Zach, no, I did not realize that until people started to say that. I don't know why. Like, if I'm talking, like, normally, like, on a normal day, I'll say, I don't even want to say the word, but, it sounds normal. On videos, for some reason, it just comes out wrong. I've tried to fix it. I gotta fix that, though. I mean, it happens on every video. It is definitely not intentional. It's not. I think the thing is, my intros have always been in the same sort of tone, and, like, they've always been the same way. Like, for the last, like, year, I'm so used to saying, like, the same words You know, like in a way, like the intro is always the same, like the first like sentence or two are always the same. So I think that just kind of got ingrained in my head the wrong way. I think that's what happened. Again, this tornado warning goes for another 20 minutes until 7:30 Central Time. Rotation is pretty weak now, though. I think this will probably be canceled at some point in the next few minutes. Still stay in your safe place, though, until the tornado warning is officially lifted. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers. I know. We are currently... I think we're 1,700 away now. Yeah, we're about 1,670 away. Yeah, this line of storms, I mean, again, this environment, it was not really expected to be really primed for, you know, like a widespread severe weather threat by any means. We are going to see a lot of storms, and there will be a lot of lightning tonight. Those things are both, like, guarantees at this point. The severe weather, though, it's still going to be on the lower side of things. This is not a super primed severe weather event. And the storms that we have out there right now, I mean, they're cooking. But most of them are not that intense. I mean, you know, we have the one tornado warning that was pretty intense when it, you know, began, and we very well could see another tornado warning down the road here. Again, this is still a QLCS potential here, that we see an isolated brief tornado somewhere in this yellow circle, perhaps even up in here. But again, the threat is going to stay pretty low on that. There'll be mainly a damaging wind threat, which will still be on the, you know, the isolated side of things. Was I live for the June 29th derecho? I went live, I think, about 100 times in 2023, so I am guessing I did. I will double check, though. New severe thunderstorm warning issued for Seymour, or just south of Seymour. That's quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Yes, I was live on that day. We were live for about 4 hours on June 29th. The Midwest derecho. Yeah, some of these events I forget about because I go live so often. I lose track sometimes. There are a lot of memorable ones, though. The severe weather threat overall, it's gonna be lower as we go throughout the evening overall. Like, even down here in South Texas, I mean, the peak of severe weather down here will be over the next hour. Even then, I mean, we are really not seeing much right now when it comes to severe weather. These are not overly organized supercells. So, granted, these are pretty impressive thunderstorms. They're definitely not supercellular. The only one might be just this one right down here near Crystal City, just south of there near Asherton. A lot of lightning, that's for sure. Look how much lightning there is. The lightning is going crazy over here, but again, not really impressive. These are not overly organized. The wind profile is also not very impressive for, you know, wind shear and tornadic activity down there. I think if there's any tornadoes over the next couple hours, it would be embedded in this line in far western North Texas. I think that's really it for that tornado risk. We might see something brief up here somewhere in southwest Oklahoma, but that's a big stretch. And then even back down in South Texas, I think it's a stretch at this point. Those storms have not been very impressive. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of lightning tonight. Again, if you don't have blinds, you're going to see a lot of lightning tonight. If you're in North Texas or even in Southeast Texas, there's going to be a lot of it. It's going to be frequent lightning. How's it going, James? And tornado warning still ongoing for 15 more minutes unless it gets canceled. Again, I would not be surprised if it does. The rotation is pretty weak right now. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning. This tornado warning is about to be canceled. Most likely. I'm guessing it will be. They just issued that new severe thunderstorm warning northeast of Throckmorton for quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in, make sure to subscribe to the channel. It is free to do. It's the red button down below. Subscribe to the channel. We are about 1,600 subscribers away from 100,000. Make sure to subscribe. Where's Williamson County? Is that near Houston? Sounds familiar. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting little setup. You know, I wish I was there for the Haskell tornado. The photos from the Haskell tornado were pretty impressive, just southwest of Haskell. It was in an open field, and there was 2 different tornadoes, and they were both pretty crazy looking from a close range. I have a few photos of those on our Twitter page at MaxVelocityWX. Tornado warning has now officially been canceled, so we no longer have a tornado warning. Severe thunderstorm warnings overall have definitely gone down. We're definitely dropping the ball in tornado warnings now. North of Austin, I mean, you have a threat of a tornado, but it's, again, very, very low. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, but still have a tornado action plan in place just in case, and multiple ways to receive alerts. Fort Worth is mainly going to be damaging winds. Again, pretty isolated threat. There will be a low chance there for a little bit of isolated large hail. All right, let me check something really quick. Again, that tornado warning has now been canceled. It is a pretty large area of storms. Again, a linear setup at this point. And these storms, again, will continue to push off to the east over the next few hours. Damaging winds being the main concern, maybe a brief tornado. That tornado window, though, is going to be closing over the next couple of hours. I think the latest we'll see a tornado threat would be like 9 o'clock or so. Seven right now, so that'd be 9. I'm just trying to do something real quick. This is the live cam out of German, Texas. Again, this is about 45 miles off to the east of the tornado warning cell from a couple minutes ago. A lot of lightning. We're going to see a lot of that as the storm approaches. I'm good now. Trying to type something. Wichita Falls shouldn't be too bad. Most of the storms near Wichita Falls that are at least approaching there are non-severe. The ones that are severe are staying to the south. If you see any severe weather, it'll probably be damaging winds up to 60, maybe quarter-sized hail. I wouldn't expect a tornado, though, up that far up to the north. This will be the area, again, that has at least some sort of low chance of a tornado over the next hour or two. But that tornado risk is really going to lower more and more as we go throughout the rest of this evening. It's just going to keep dropping. So here's the tornado risk. Like, let's just make a graph here. This is the tornado risk right now. It's going to fall like that over the next few hours. It's going to get pretty close to 0 once this area of storms gets closer to DFW. It's just not going to be nearly as organized. Thanks, LV, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Broad rotation near the Asherton area. Let me check. Looks like we have a little bit of contamination here. Don't really see much here. Not really any rotation. I mean, it's very weak if there's any, and overall, this is definitely more of a hailstorm right now, this entire thing. There is a lot of lightning, that's for sure. This is a highly electrified supercell, but it's mostly a hail concern. There is a little bit of contamination, though, there from the hail. You could say there's broad rotation, but it's... I would even say it's weaker than that. That storm will be moving east and east-northeast. And this is also, I believe, pretty slow. This is moving at 30 miles per hour. All these storms are pretty slow tonight. We don't have a whole lot of storm motion tonight with these storms. They're not moving very fast. Storm back up near Kerrville, too. A lot of lightning with this one. There's a lot of lightning down here in South Texas compared to North Texas and even North Central Texas. There's still a good amount of lightning, but it's not nearly as much as down there. Houston will not see severe weather until early tomorrow morning or overnight tonight. That'll be the main time frame to watch for. So, and I'm not expecting anything there till overnight tonight to early tomorrow morning. Lots of lightning, but no wind down here. The winds are not nearly as strong down to the south. Even in the severe storm, I don't think that there's a whole lot of wind there. The wind profiles are much weaker when we look at the lower levels on like the soundings and stuff. So basically when we look at, you know, anywhere from just a few thousand feet up off the ground down to the surface, the winds are way weaker down here. They're just not nearly as intense. With that being said, we can still get some downburst winds down with one of these severe storms. But the winds overall and the wind profile is a bit better looking up here to the north. And that's why we've had a couple of tornadoes and we had another tornado warning. It's really because we have a bit more veering, and as well as just overall the lower level, you know, like the low level jet, for example, and the low level winds, they're definitely stronger by probably a good 10 knots or so. I mean, we're looking at like 25 knots down in South Texas. They're around 35, 40 up here in North Central Texas. Tornadoes in Weatherford, I doubt it. Again, if I would be surprised if we see a tornado in Weatherford tonight. Not saying it won't happen, but it's a very low chance overall. I'm not seeing any rotation at this given time across the line. There might be like a little bit in the, you know, a little bit higher up in the atmosphere, but there's definitely nothing really imminent with any of these supercells anywhere in this line of storms that we have. But you know what there is a lot of is lightning. This is a live cam out of German, Texas. Still about 40 miles away from the storm over here. East DFW will probably see storms around midnight tonight. 11 o'clock to midnight. That's a pretty good flash of lightning. 11 p.m., 12 a.m. That'll be your ETA. Houston, Texas, not really much of a tornado risk tonight. Very low threat. If you're down near Houston, the main concern is damaging winds. And again, that'll be like overnight tonight to tomorrow morning. Making sure to open my curtains. Oh my goodness. Now that, if you want to wake up, if you need to wake up at a certain time tonight, like, or overnight tonight, tomorrow morning, like, let's just say you have a flight at like, I don't know, 7 a.m. and you need to wake up at 4, just open up the shades in Houston. The lightning will wake you up for sure. Jesse, I probably won't if it stays quiet for the next little while. We've been live for 2 hours, which is kind of surprising for this. Wow, that's a lot of lightning. I think severe weather will ramp up as we get closer to early March. I mean, this is one of the severe weather events that we'll see in February. We'll probably see 1 or 2 more. But I don't think we're going to see anything crazy beyond this in February. I think February will not be too crazy when it comes to severe weather. I think next month will definitely be crazier once we go into March. Obviously, March is usually crazier, but you know what I mean. How's it going, Sandy? Welcome back. On the 50th floor, downtown Dallas. That is the perfect spot. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you're just tuning in for the first time and you've not already, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are 25 subscribers from 98,400, so make sure to subscribe. We are closing in on 100,000. We're definitely not going to hit that in the live stream. I didn't expect to by any means, but we might at some point in the next couple weeks. You never know. It's getting pretty close, which is just crazy to think. Hasn't been a lot of spring forecasts. I usually don't make spring forecasts. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever made a spring forecast, to be honest with you. I've made a summer forecast before. I have made a... So I've made a summer forecast. I've made, I think, now 2 winter forecasts in my history here on YouTube. I think I made a fall one. Not this past year, but the year prior. And then I think that's it. I've never made a spring one, though. Maybe I will at some point. You never know. You know, the other thing about these storms is that they are pretty slow moving. And since they're not too crazy severe right now, I mean, you know, too crazy to talk about. We had a live stream last spring. We were covering Oklahoma severe storms. Nothing too crazy. I think it was a slight risk of severe weather that day. It was mostly hail and wind. Those storms were moving at like snail's pace. They were moving at like 8 miles per hour. And at that time, we didn't have live like storm chasers with us. We do have it more often now. Not every stream will have storm chasers, like this one in particular. I mean, we didn't, but you know, back then, you know, it was more common, or not as common. Sorry, back then. And yeah, there was one live stream where, you know, those storms were moving so slow, and just using a radar on that live stream, it was kind of painful. It was just so slow, and yeah, there wasn't much to talk about since, you know, the weather was happening in one spot. It wasn't really moving, and there wasn't any tornado warnings at the time. I don't think that event had any. So. Just got a special weather statement. Yeah, special weather statements are the precursor to severe storms, but even then, sometimes you don't get a severe thunderstorm warning. But mostly strong storms right now moving through central Texas, near Abilene, back through Breckenridge and the Eastland area. Again, a few severe thunderstorm warnings southwest of Wichita Falls. The storms are beginning to approach German Texas on this live cam. The lightning, again, you can see it there in the background. This is looking off to the west toward the severe storms that are producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And again, these currently moving to the east. About 25 to 30 miles per hour. They're not very fast. Not really much of a tornado risk tonight for the Red River. Again, it's going to be mainly damaging winds. Anxiously waiting for what will happen near DFW. Again, I don't think DFW will be anything crazy. It's going to be mainly, again, damaging winds. A lot of lightning. But I don't know if we'll see damaging winds, to be honest. It might just be mostly gusty winds. This line has not been overly impressive. It hasn't really intensified much over the last 30 minutes. If anything, it's actually weakened. As it approaches DFW, it'll probably be near the same intensity as it is right now, but it'll be mostly isolated severe weather. This isn't an environment where we're going to see this line go for, hours upon hours. New severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued for that cyclone port, that live cam back over in the German Texas area, but Olney is now included in a severe thunderstorm warning that is for nickel-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Don't forget. Oh, how did I still have that up? Did I accidentally click that? That is my bad. One near Waco is producing a lot of lightning. Actually, yeah, there's a pretty good amount of lightning near Hillsboro. Yeah, there's a good amount of lightning there. That's not even a severe storm, and that one's not going to become severe, but nice little thunderstorm going on there near the I-35 Ian westbound highways. Still a couple of good storms down here as well, back down near San Antonio, but again, nothing too crazy. Near Kerrville, a lot of lightning, and then the other storm down here to the south, a little bit of hail, and maybe 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, and definitely a lot of lightning near Big Wells in the Asherton area. And then back in central Texas, again, this linear line of storms will continue to move to the east over the next few hours. Again, most of this will be gusty winds. There will be a couple of storms producing damaging winds. Could there be another tornado? I would say it's a very low chance overall. We do have maybe a little bit of rotation here near the Fort Griffin area, but again, nothing too out of the ordinary. So that's really what we're going to be seeing here for the next few hours. And eventually, these will approach DFW closer to midnight tonight, and that'll be a little bit better of a chance there for some gusty winds and definitely a lot of lightning. New severe thunderstorm warning has now been issued for Wichita Falls, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds and quarter-sized hail being possible. No problem, Dorothy. Troy? From? This is a windmill farm, is what I'm getting. So what are those flashing lights? Is that an airport? Out here in the distance? I can't really tell. Nighttime, so I can't tell. Some sort of runway, maybe? Denton is not in the clear. You will be seeing storms tonight between 11 and 2. Those are windmills, really? It's flashing lights? This looks like the ground. Are those, like, really distant or something? I can't really tell. I'll have to look at this during the daytime. That's interesting. I literally thought that was a runway. Sustained wind right now is about 16 miles per hour here, or at least that's what it's peaking out right now. Out in front of these storms that are severe. Thousands of them out there? Oh, really? That's interesting. They have red blinking lights on top of them. Gotcha. Temple, Texas, isolated severe weather later tonight. Damaging winds, really the only concern there. But again, it's pretty low threat overall. Severe thunderstorm watch has just been extended, or expanded, I should say, back into Wichita Falls, Vernon, and Clay County. So Wichita Falls, Vernon, the Henrietta area, all now included in this severe thunderstorm watch. So 4 counties, it looks like. Yeah, 4 counties just added to that. Seymour was as well, it looks like. Yeah, anything that's like high up, like any buildings or anything like that, they typically have blinking lights. I think it's over 200 feet in Florida that you need a blinking light or whatever that light is on top of things for aircraft requirements. Alrighty, let me check Twitter and see if there's anything else new here. Yeah, the storm that's going toward Wichita Falls, producing the potential for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Most of this activity is currently damaging winds. Maybe a little pocket of rotation, actually, back near 183, but it looks pretty weak. A small little pocket of rotation there. We actually had another one back near 183, near Lake Kemp a few minutes ago, but looks like that was pretty weak as well. Couple of pockets of rotation up there. There's definitely still some rotation with these storms, but overall, the rotation, like down here further to the south, for example, way weaker. Believe it or not, the only area that I'm seeing any rotation in is actually back up here near the Wichita Falls area. Definitely interesting. Yeah, that'll be the main area to watch for over the next 30 minutes for a tornado. Back up here. Main area. There's a couple pockets of rotation. Main one's back near 183. That's going to be going toward Electra. With that being said, the chances of these actually producing a tornado are, again, still on the lower side of things, even up in here. There's a little bit more spin with these storms, though. A bit more wind shear in this area. Thank you, Sandy, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, and welcome to the Velocities. Thank you. Where I think the biggest wind threat will be. Over the next 3 to 4 hours, really for the rest of the tonight, it'll be mainly up in here. But even then, it's going to still be a pretty isolated threat. And then by tomorrow morning, the main damaging wind threat will be back down here near Houston. Damaging winds being possible down there. Here's the live view out of German, Texas. And we got some lightning. The thunderstorms are approaching there. We'll see if we get any crazy lightning here. Abilene is considered Central Texas, the last time I checked. Like 99% sure that's... It's actually West Central Texas, so it's like in between. It's actually in West Texas. Is that actually? Let me look at the regions real quick. I've called Abilene Central Texas for the last, like, 4 years. And so, I'm kind of surprised. I don't know if there's really an official map of Texas, like, regions. But just looking at some of these, apparently Abilene is considered West Texas. But with that being said, I mean, a lot of areas like Abilene and whatnot, like, you can still call them Central Texas. Because, I mean, it is literally... This is technically Central Texas, like, over here. That's what they say. But, like, I mean, that's not even central. That's like the heart of Texas, almost. It's kind of weird. Like, I would say over here is more... Or not really in here, but, like, over in here would be more Central Texas. Maybe a little bit further to the left here. I don't know. I've always called it Central Texas. And like up here is like North Central Texas, up near Vernon and Wichita Falls. You think the watch will be extended east? I don't think so, unless there's some crazy developments with these storms in here. The watch probably will not get extended, but I wouldn't be surprised if we got some sort of small extension. If, again, one of these bands of storms kind of intensified. Like back up here, for example, near Wichita Falls, like these storms in particular, like these have not really intensified, but these ones in particular are, you know, staying intense. They're strong, and they're producing some severe weather aspects, so they extended the watch into 4 different counties. So if something like this happens where we get a little band of storms that are producing a bit more severe weather than like another band, then, you know, we might have a little extension, but I don't think there'll be like a widespread watch for North Texas. Apparently West Texas, I would consider it North Central. Yeah, I mean, I call it Central Texas. North Central is, it wouldn't be, in my opinion, it's not North Central because it's not really that far north. But, again, more of an opinion thing. Maybe West Central? I think it's more considered West Central than it would be, like, East Central. It's definitely more West Central. West Central makes a lot more sense. But yeah, the main complex of storms is actually now moving toward the Wichita Falls area. So this is now the main concern, will be these storms here. A little bit of rotation, but again, pretty broad right now. Damaging winds being the main concern. These will move toward Wichita Falls and Iowa Park. And Electra, again, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour possible. Same thing with the Olney, Texas area. And as these continue to move to the north and east, still be mindful a brief tornado is possible, but majority of this will be damaging winds. Again, back through central Texas, the majority of this is all gusty winds, nothing severe for the most part in central Texas. Back near Abilene, these are now starting to move into western North Texas. Damaging winds is a possibility over the next few hours, but for right now, all these storms are non-severe. With a lot of lightning, by the way, these will be highly electrified storms. And then back down in parts of South Texas near San Antonio, majority of these storms are not severe. There's one that is back near the Ashertonville area, or Asherton area, near Big Wells. That has some quarter-sized tail 60-mile-per-hour winds, but again, nothing too crazy with that one. These will again continue to move to the east-northeast over the next few hours with plenty of lightning, a little bit of damaging wind potential, some lightning, as I just said. I meant to say large hail, and maybe an isolated tornado. But I think the tornado threat overall is getting to the point where it's very low. The short-term tornado risk over the next 45 minutes will be back up in here with this complex of storms near Wichita Falls as that moves to the north and east. But overall, pretty low threat for the next little while. But overall, that's going to be it for today's stream. It's, again, been a very active 2 hours. It's kind of dying down a bit now. If there's any other surprise tornado warnings, we might go live again, so make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and click the bell icon down below so you're notified if and when we do go live again. But I do appreciate everybody watching. Thank you all for the support over the last few days and over the last few weeks. I really do appreciate it. We are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. We are now 1,600 subscribers away from 100,000, so if you're new here and you've not already, make sure to hit the red button down below and subscribe to the channel. We are exactly 1,600 subscribers away from 100,000. That is just crazy to think. By the way, we had a video about 5 days ago, or about 6 days ago. It's up to nearly 850,000 views. I don't know why, and I don't know how, so I do appreciate if you watch that video. That one somehow got a lot of views. I don't know why, but I appreciate the support on that. By the way, friendly reminder, if you want to watch more short form weather forecasts, we have a TikTok page we are uploading frequently on, about once every day. So if you want short form 1 to 2 minute, weather forecasts instead of like the 8-minute weather forecast, You can watch our TikToks there. The TikTok link is in the description. It's also in the chat now. Thank you as well, Jasmine, for the $5 super chat. I do appreciate your generosity a lot. Appreciate anybody that super chatted in this live stream. If you donated at all, I appreciate you guys a lot. It helps out the page a ton. If you subscribe to the channel, if you did something as simple as liking the stream, I really do appreciate that. And again, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the page. We are very close to 100,000 subscribers. I don't know what I'm doing yet for 100,000 because that's a huge number. I've not planned anything, so I'm gonna figure something out. Because we're getting very close to it, way faster than I expected. I mean, we've gained, I think, like 14,000 subscribers in the last like 30 days, so it's coming way quicker than I thought. So maybe it'll slow down a little bit, but we'll see. I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Have a great, safe rest of your night. We'll see you guys all again soon. Have a safe rest of your night, and again, have multiple ways to receive alerts.